as Jeff said, it's not just about a list of skills, but also a whole collection of resources that are going to support the development of these skills. We're going to go over these 7 resources today. I'm going to take the first 5, and Jeff is going to finish up with the last 2. We're going to try to do it in as relaxed a fashion as possible. It's going to be hard because I'm going to want to show you more than I have time to in the lightning talk. But if you want to see anything more or dive in deeper into any of these resources, please be sure to join us in the breakout following the lightning talks. So this is a page from the book, from the framework book. And I am going to go ahead and dive into that document. And I forgot, oh, if this makes you dizzy, look away. I forgot to scroll back up this morning. So every domain, remember there are 3 categories of skills, 10 domains, and 75 skills. So this is the communication domain. Every domain begins with a set of guiding questions. These are general questions about the domain. They can be used to help frame your thinking about your own skill levels. Instead of just reading off a list of the skills that are in there, if you're beginning a discussion with a group of learners, you can introduce a domain in this way. You've got the list of skills and a description of all the skills. And then you have what we call I can statements. These I can statements are tangible examples of what a skill can look like across different contexts: my life, my work, my education. This is especially important with our adult learners who have diverse backgrounds and different levels of experience, for them to see how one skill can look in different situations. We also added a column for us as teachers and trainers to show what that skill can look like in our practice as well. Now, these I can statements can be used as informal performance assessments, and you can have students demonstrate their own I can statements once they have mastered a skill. Also, for every domain, you're going to have a collection of vocabulary specific to that domain. You're also going to have a list of tools. Let's take a look at that. Once again, if this makes you dizzy, look away for a minute. I'm going to show you these things for communication. So this is the vocabulary list for communication. You have a link to the Digital Skills Glossary because each one of these words is included in the glossary, which has a collection of resources that can support the development of this vocabulary. This is quite the extensive list right here. So we're going to scroll down through that and show you what the tools look like. Every domain has a list of tools. These can be used to talk to students about what they might be able to do when they master the skills, or it can be used to generate ideas for you to do activities within the classroom as you're developing skills. The Digital Skills Library. Someone wants to drop the link to the Digital Skills Library. This is an open repository of free learning resources designed to support the development of these skills and to help students achieve their goals. It's managed by the EdTech Center at World Education. And one of the really cool things to me is that all the resources within this, and look at this, 1,800, all of the resources have been curated by educators in EdTech makerspaces. And I've seen some of my maker friends on here today, and we thank you, to align to the digital skills in the framework. So let's take a look at the Digital Skills Library. And again, it's going to be hard for me just to do this really quick overview, but I'm going to try to stick to it. So you can explore by domain. When you click on one of these, you see the skills with all the codes beside them, and you can search that way. Or you can just search the entire library right here. You can add the code of a specific skill, or you can search by keyword. I'm going to punch in the word email. And to give you an idea of the wealth, you can click this button. It's going to load 12 at a time, but you'll click view more and then view more and then view more as you continue to load 12 at a time, because there are a lot of resources about email. I'm going to click on one of the cards to show you When you do that, you can launch that specific activity. If that activity is part of a parent resource, a bigger resource, you can actually go to that big one. It's going to tell you what kind of format it is. This one is a lesson. It's going to show you the related skills, and it's going to tell you more about each resource. Now, these are a lot of resources, so you might want to filter. You have the ability to filter by the kind of by the name of the resource. Maybe you have a favorite or your learners have a favorite. You can search by format. What kind of resource is it? You can search by subtopic, or you can even search by language and see if the resources are available in different languages. And number 3, the Digital Skills Glossary. We are at 350 terms and counting. This was developed by over 40 educators in February of 23 as part of the DRAW, Digital Resilience in the American Workforce Project. The makers found audio media, visual media, they designed slides, and they created activities. We're going to take a quick look at the Digital Skills Glossary, and you can see that all of these things are connected. So the index is a spreadsheet. It includes all the words, the definitions. Each word is assigned a theme, a main theme. Now it may belong to other themes as well, but for the purposes of organization has one theme. And so an educator could go into the spreadsheet, search by theme, grab up a group of the words and definitions and plug them into something like a word wall or a Flippity to build other activities to reinforce the vocabulary. Every word has a slide, 350 slides. These are the same slide decks. They're just organized differently. This one's alphabetical. This one is thematic by that main theme I talked about here. I'm going to show you one of the slides. So I am in the thematic slide deck right now. I am at the section break called email and messaging. The next slide has all of the email and messaging terms that are included in that section. And this is what the slides look like. They all have this similar look. There's the term, the definition, a sentence to help build context, and an image. There's also a link to an audio pronunciation. And we tried to find as many as we could with Google, and I'll show you in a minute why. Although we couldn't at that time find all of them, so you will run across some other resources. It's important to note that these slides are open, adaptable, reusable, so you can come here, download the ones you want, and then if you want a simpler sentence or a more complex sentence, you're free to change it. If you want a different image related to what's going on in your classroom, you can do that as well. All right, wanted to show you this in case you haven't seen it. So when you click the audio link,
attach,
so they can hear it and see the mouth. They can slow it down if they want
attach.
I am not going to demonstrate the practice because it doesn't always like my Southern accent. Maybe if you come to the breakout, I'll do that. But it records and then lets a user know whether or not they're on target with their pronunciation. So I'm going to go back to the glossary resources, and we also have the instructor guide. This is a Google Doc. It provides lots of details about how to use the materials, how to make copies of the materials, but it also has activity ideas that were built by the makers in the makerspace. And I'm going to go back to the slide, and this is where I would really love to have time to dive into that, and but you can explore on your own. Really great activities there. So when the makers were encouraged to build an activity related to one of the themes and a group of words from the glossary, they were asked to choose one of these strategies for building digital resilience through language. So this is what one of the activities looks like inside the guide. You have, this one is recognizing common features and functions. It's about social media, and Tiffany's here today. Tiffany, this is one of yours, and the terms that were used, and then a brief description kind of guides someone to implement that activity in their own room. So in their own classroom. Thank you for all of the work that you guys did to make that happen. Number 4 is checklists for self-assessment and goal setting, and possibly even doing observations of learners demonstrating skills. This one, some of you may have seen before. This checklist is the checklist for diverse learners. It has different lists depending on the learner type. For example, senior citizen, parent, beginning user. It can be used, as we said, to look at what I can and can't do, what kind of goals do I want to set. And the beautiful thing is, again, it's adaptable. So these suggested skills are just a beginning place, and you can remove some, add some, depending on your purpose. And it's a great tool for informing instruction and informing the design of any digital literacy programming. We're working on some other checklists as well. This is one that we completed that is built on the work of others. This one, we took a look at Seattle's survey they did of their communities last year. And what they did was they looked at 19 digital activities that are important to being included in the digital world. So we took those 19 activities, plugged them into a checklist, and each one of them we went ahead and aligned to the skills from the Bridges framework. So if a learner or an educator were using this, they can immediately see if a student says no, or maybe I can do it. They can go to the digital skills library, the link right here, and look up the related skills for that. Another one we just finished is related to the NDIA's checklist for digital skill navigators. We did the same thing, the same kind of format for that. And there are others coming as well. And then we know that not everyone used the Seattle framework. So recognizing that some might use North Star or use ISTE standards for students or DigComp 2.2, we have done crosswalks for those. How could this be used? Let's say that you use North Star assessments. You have a learner who takes a social media assessment, and maybe the report says that they need to work on standard 8. The learner themselves or the educator trainer could immediately see, here are the related skills for that, go to the digital skills library and find resources to support developing those skills out further. So that was resource number 5, and I am going to stop there and let Jeff pick it up and finish up with 6 and 7.
All right, and just to note on those checklists, we have, or the crosswalks, excuse me, we have crosswalks to North Star. We have crosswalks to, you are seeing, which screen are you seeing? You're seeing the right screen, yay. North Star, DigComp, and ISTE with these checklists. So those are in the appendix at the end. All right, so these are also more resources that you've seen, but again, I'm hoping you're seeing the connection that we're trying to make a stronger linkage between the framework and these other resources that have been developed, again, by many of the people on this call. And so one other tool that you may be familiar with is the EdTech Integration Strategy Toolkit. And this is something that we designed a couple of years ago, but what people may forget is that all of the routines that are in this toolkit are also aligned to the skills that are in the Bridges framework. So I'm actually going to hop on over to it just so you can see it. But when we go to the routines, I could also go to digital tools and look at digital tools and look at things like breakout rooms and see what kind of tools have breakout rooms. But you'll see even with the tools, it links to a particular routine. And this is a routine that you could use using video meetings and breakout rooms to have students practice speaking and presenting. And so these routines are things that you can do within your regular classroom practice. So it's not specifically designed to teach digital skills, but it's something you might have students doing regardless as part of math instruction or reading instruction. But it walks through the routine, why it's a strong routine and evidence-based, and how to do it. But then they also include digital skills. And these are the very skills that are also in the Bridges framework. And so all of the routines that are in this library, the EdTech Integration Strategy Toolkit, align to Bridges, but then also this is another project that one of the other World Ed initiatives did for the city of Boston. And they also developed a bunch of routines here on this website. And if someone can put in the chat, I did link both of these in the notes for this particular slide. But I can go to any one of these areas and click on the category. This is communication. And here's a routine that was developed. And you can see it's got this what, why, how that was part of the EdTech Integration Toolkit. But again, then it also provides linkages to the Bridges skills that are developed in this routine. So it's things you're doing in classroom practice, but how you can layer in the digital skills as part of that work. And then the last resource, if you may have resource fatigue at this point, and I apologize for that. The last resource that we're going to share is Skillblocks. So again, you've probably heard of Skillblocks if you've followed the EdTech Center and Crowded Learning. But Skillblocks is a tool that allows you to actually build shareable lessons that integrate digital skills activities into them or other subject areas as well. It's a platform that we've built that organizes open education resources in a similar manner to, say, the Digital Skills Library. And all of the Digital Skills Library resources are also in Skillblocks. But instead of just finding a resource and then maybe sharing that with students, this allows you to build lessons and playlists that incorporate those different activities. So I'm going to hop again over into here to my Skillblocks account, and I'll just show two Skillblocks that were created by other people, not me, but this is my account and Rachel's shared account. But Mary developed a Skillblocks where she pulled from the Digital Skills Library this great activity on creating simple formulas. So this is from GCF Global, which is in the library. And it's got a video on how to create simple formulas in Google Sheets. And then she designed, from using the Digital Skills Glossary, a vocabulary slide deck that incorporates terms that students need to know when using spreadsheets. So that's the first activity in her slide deck. And then, because she's the queen of really fun activities, she created a word wall that is this really fun, engaging matching tool here. There's other different games that you can do using the same terms and definitions. As front-loading vocabulary before students actually go into the Digital Skills Library activity. And then she created an activity for students to practice entering forms into a Google Sheet. So basically taking this one resource from the library and building out activities that that she can share with her students and have students work through. And because Skillblocks is designed to be shareable, as you'll see, I saved her Skillblock here, but I can make a copy of it because she set it so that, well, I could. I don't know why it's not letting me. That's really sad. It should be letting me. Let me refresh. There we go. And so here's my copy of that Skillblock. So now I have my own version of the Skillblock that Mary created. And if I want to edit her slides or add more content in here, I have the ability to do so. And so this is getting into more deeper skill integration and building lessons, and most importantly, sharing things through this tool called Skillblocks.